Good morning. Good morning. Come into this space of worship amidst our busy lives and all that this season asks of us. You have arrived here in this place of communion, rest, and renewal. Take a moment to feel a sense of arrival. You may have been in this space many times before, or maybe this is your first time here or your first time in a while. It is another Sunday service, yes, but it is also a new day, unlike any others that have come before. In this time, in this space, we are entering a shared experience. We may be asked to be vulnerable, to listen deeply to others. We may be asked to mark this moment as sacred. Please leave your expectations at the door. I invite you here and now to bring a sense of curiosity, bring your openness to this space. Stop and feel into the moment. How is it that you are arriving here? Feel your feet wherever they rest. Feel your body in your seat. Remember the gravity that connects you to this earth. I see some people closing their eyes. If you want to do so, you're welcome. Notice your heart. Is it light or heavy at this time? Scan your body. Are you holding any tension that you can let go of? Take this moment to feel the energy that you brought with you today. We come to church from so many places, so many different lives. We spend our weeks at school or at work or taking care of others. We do chores, we work on personal projects, we spend time with others, we spend time with ourselves. There is so much that might be on our minds this morning, so many emotions here in our bodies. What have you brought with you? It is all welcome. Is there anything you want to set aside? If so, please do that now. And now, can you follow your breath? There is nothing more that needs to be done now, but breathe and be here. And so, as we enter into this worship space, please keep paying attention to your body and your breath. We are awake and alive this morning, so feel it. And feel all the energy around you in this space. We are in a room full of people who are awake and alive together. And we have people gathering in their homes from all over on live stream. We're worshiping in a community that is bigger than these walls. This energy travels between us. And feel that energy gathered in this moment right now. So come into this space of communion, this now moment where we are alive together. So come, let us worship together.
So I invite you to continue to hold that beautiful sacred space of stillness and peace. And we're going to be singing "Come, Come, Whoever You Are." We're starting with the thing that actually comes from the Rumi poem, which is though you've broken your vows 1,000 times. So Lisa will continue to drone that, and you can sing that continually if you want to, or go ahead and join in any time. Switch back and forth, whatever you want to do. We're going to sing it through about 3 or 4 times. Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper,
Yes, here we are. Welcome to the Westside Unitarian Universalist congregation. I'm Chris Darnell, a member of the worship team, and it's my great joy to be gathering with you on this day to celebrate a time of transitions. In our service today, we'll be honoring those among us who are moving from one stage of life to another and witnessing the bridging of our youth into young adulthood. This will be a time of celebration, maybe a little crying, and it is our chance for us to reflect on our values and the ways we care for one another in this community. If you're a regular here, you may notice that our service feels a little bit different than usual. For one, it is multi-generational. We will not be sending the children and youth off to classes, but they'll stay in the sanctuary worshiping together. And don't worry, fellow youth. You'll enjoy your time in the congregation, supporting one another and celebrating yourselves. As Reverend Carter mentioned in our call to worship, we invite you to bring your curiosity and joy to this service. We are stretching our liturgical elements a bit to engage all of us in meaningful reflection and bringing our full presence to this celebration together. Our focus will be on the care and value we offer and receive in this beloved Westside UU community. We hope, no matter how you've arrived in this space today, that you will find something in this service for you. If you are here with us for the first time, or first time in a while, welcome. We're so glad that you are here to share in this time, to make some space in your life, to attend to your heart and your spirit, to come together in community. Please visit our website or scan the QR code. It's that little funky box with all the little dots and whatnot, right there in the pews to fill out a getting to know you welcome form so that we could send out our weekly electronic newsletter, The Westside Week, which is full of information about upcoming worship services and other congregational activities, both in person and online. Everyone, let's gather after the service for conversation and community so that we can catch up with each other, greet, say hi, smile, and connect with one another, even with newcomers, on this beautiful sunny day that looks perfect for kite flying. We gather today from many locations, and we take this moment to particularly acknowledge that our congregation resides on the traditional territory of the Duwamish people. In this acknowledgement, we recognize the Duwamish heritage imbued in the mountains, valleys, waterways, and shorelines that surround us all. May we nurture our relationship with our coastal Salish neighbors, especially the Duwamish people, and our shared responsibilities to this place. Let's take a moment to offer humble respect for this place and its peoples, and renew our commitments to work of authentic reconciliation. Our welcoming words this morning are the ones that the youth group uses in their worship time together. So hopefully I don't butcher it too much. Call me out if I do. We are building a radically inclusive community where you can explore your identity without boxes. We are multiracial, Latino, Latina, Asian, Black, Native, and white, rich, middle class, poor, young and old, lesbian, bisexual, gay, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, straight, and anything in between. We are spiritually diverse and know we need not think alike to love alike. However you identify, you can find a home here. Bring passion and a desire to see change. Be prepared to exercise your heart, mind, and spirit, and know that we're here with you on your path. It is good to see familiar faces and some new faces today. Let's take a few moments to greet those around you in a way that feels safe. A smile, a wave, an elbow bump. Please. All right, yous. So chatty. Keep that chat going after service downstairs. So lively. In each week's service, we invite a member of our congregation to light the chalice of our shared Unitarian Universalist faith. Today, our chalice lighter is a whole lot of people, the RE planning team. This includes Amy Hansberg-Cotty, Faith Iverson, Jeanette Hitch, Thomas Terrence, Jade Wilde, and Laura Strand as the board liaison. We have asked our chalice lighters to respond to the question, what gives you hope? Jeanette Hitch is going to share her response.
Thank you. Like many people, I find myself most in need of hope during periods of intense transition. During my freshman year of college, which was an intense transition if there ever was one, a friend of mine noticed that I was struggling and confused and in need of hope, and he passed along this excerpt of a letter from the poet Rilke. I posted it on the wall of my dorm so that I could remind myself often of its message. Later on, as a new teacher, I posted it right above my desk for the days when the demands of the classroom seemed too much and I needed a little hope to keep going. I'd like to read that excerpt to you now. I would like to beg you, dear one, as well as I can, to have patience with everything unresolved in your heart and to try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer.
Now, as Faith Iverson and the RE planning team lights our chalice, please join me in speaking the words of our congregation's affirmation. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, thus do we covenant with one another.
All right, I invite you all to rise in body or spirit as we sing This Little Light of Mine. Yeah. So this is one that's familiar to everyone, so let's just really fill this church with a bunch of happy sound. Here we go. This little light of mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. That's right, oh, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Like flash, building up the world. I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. 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 One more time with that. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Good morning. I'm going to ask board members, including incoming board members, to join me up here on stage. Come on up. Great. I'm hoping that many of you know that our Reverend Carter's ordination was on May 28th this year. Yeah. And that was at her home church, the Community Church of Chapel Hill, which is a beautiful church nestled in the trees in a nice residential area of Chapel Hill. And I was lucky enough to be there for that ceremony, which was very moving. And what I learned a few things. I learned a few things about Carter that you may not know, some of which I probably will not reveal, but some I know. No, seriously. I learned that she is really grounded in community. There were people there from her home church where she grew up that knew her or knew of her before she was even born. And there were friends from all different ages and times of her life that were there to love and support her. Also the minister of the church nearby where she was dedicated as a baby, well, not the minister from that church was there. I also learned that she makes really deep connections and keeps them. There were 9 ministers at the ordination, all of whom had deep relationships and at a portion of her life from all kinds of people, and not only ministers, but good friends from the time where she went to youth camp at, Shelter Neck UU Church Camp. So, you youth out there and aspiring youth, I mean, there are people that you know today that will be hopefully lifelong friends for you. And there were these ministers who were there, you know, as I said, each of them, you know, they weren't there because they felt some responsibility to be there, although I'm sure they did. They were there because they really love and admire Carter, and that really shone through. And she had her aunties there. These are the unofficial aunties that helped raise her. She had people who were her peers as she was growing up in the church, and everything was full of love and support from that church. And I hope that someday, maybe even starting really soon, that she'll feel that from us here at our church, and that will be a lifelong support for her. During that ceremony, Carter made a promise to minister with authenticity, honesty, and love. And if you've had a chance to spend any time with her, you understand that she's already doing that here at Westside, and we are so lucky to have her. One of the traditions at an ordination ceremony is a gift of a stole, and she received 2 stoles at the ordination, one of which, yes, from her home church, she's wearing today. Is that spectacular? Yeah. So we have a gift. I'm going to pull it out here. So, as one of the ministers said, you can never have too many stoles, so.
I didn't know this was happening.
So yes, let's show our love and appreciation for Reverend. And this is the board that has been supporting and will continue to support Carter in her work with us.
Thanks, everyone. I didn't prepare a speech, but I'm just really, really grateful that this is my church home for now. It's been so wonderful so far. And let's get on with the show.
Surprise gift. In a moment, we will engage in a collective act of generosity known as our offering. When we take time to actively support Westside UU congregation and its many ministries with our gifts by text, check, or cash, each month we choose a community organization to share 1/3 of our undesignated offering gifts. That is, those not designated as our pledge contributions. For the month of June, our community giving recipient is Westside Youth Group. Now, each year, our community generously donates an offering to replenish our youth program funds, which are used primarily to support high school-aged youth in participating in regional and national UU events and leadership opportunities. Youth programming, both within and outside the Westside community, can be deeply impactful. It provides a sacred, radically welcoming space for youth to feel belonging, to explore their values and beliefs and how to live them, and to experience leadership roles outside of their comfort zones. Sometimes high school can be an isolating experience. UU youth programming creates multi-generational opportunities for youth to be meaningful relationships and to be known and appreciated by the service they offer. Now, I really want to call out this service, because this is the only service we have for the month of June. So if you want to support our Westside youth and the youth group, today's the day, homies. You got to do it today. And I have a vested interest in this. I have 2 children that are in Westside UU, and they are going to be part of the youth group when they're getting there. And I want it to be fully functional. I want to support our future. Okay, we went through some rough times. Our youth had to struggle through some really difficult situations in the last couple years, and we're trying to build it back up. So if you want the future of this congregation, you're looking at them. They're all around you. They're in the service today. And if we want to support them, today's the day to give. So I ask you, open up them wallets. Let's give some money. Let's support Westside Youth Group. Now, because our Sunday service worship schedules to twice monthly, like I said, there are fewer opportunities. So please consider increasing your contribution this service so that we can continue to support the work of not only Westside Youth Group, but any organization that we're working with within the Westside community. You can give by text by sending a message with the $sign and the amount you want to give to the number on the screen behind me. Hey. If you'd like your gift to be recorded as coming from you, please use one of the envelopes in the pews. And today, there are going to be 2 baskets coming around. Weird, I know. There'll be one empty basket for you to put your offering in, and one basket with papers and pens. please, everyone, take a paper and a marker when the basket comes by you and hold on to it. Later, Reverend Carter will give you instructions on what to do with these items. And now, please enjoy this gift of music, Becoming, written and sung by Gracie Bucklew.
Who's that I see? I don't recognize, gotta customize. How do you know her? But you can't see me, misplaced identity. And I'm still learning about myself each day. Watch me rise, it's my time. I will grow, here I go. Water me, I am free. I will grow, here I go. I will grow, here I go. When I was a buzz, launched in air and lingering there, tentatively full. A transition causes friction, and I'm still learning about myself each day. Watch me rise, it's my time. I will grow, here I go. Water me, I am free. I will grow, here I go. I will grow, here I go. Boy on the edge, pride and sacrifice, only half price. Girl, this year last. This hybrid runs without gas, and I'm still learning about myself each day. Watch me rise, it's my time. I will grow, here I go. Water me, I am free. I will grow, here I go. Watch me rise, it's my time. I will grow, here I go. Water me, I am free. I will grow, here I go. I will grow, here I go. I will grow, here I go.
Thank you to everyone for giving as you are able to support Westside and Westside Youth Group. Your generosity of time, treasure, and presence are gifts that sustain us as a community. Now, we're going to keep those markers and notes going around. So if it comes by you, please feel free to grab that pen and marker.
Okay, so can people hear me? Okay. So we're not having a time for all ages today, but for my homily, I will invite people to come down who would like to, young and old, everywhere in between. If you just want a chance to see and hear me better, we have some space on the floor, a little bit of space in these front pews, but people are really sitting forward today. So if you would come down if you like. Also, no pressure. This is an invitation, not a coercion. Awesome. So today, what I'm doing is I'm telling you about the ceremonies that we are going to do later in our service. You may notice there are some fun objects in our sanctuary that are not normally here. We are doing this service called Transitions and Bridging. In our Unitarian Universalist tradition, we love finding reasons to celebrate each other. One way that we do this is by marking when someone is changing from one stage of their life to the next. And so in our ceremony today, we are going to celebrate all kinds of changes. We have kids going into kindergarten. We have people going from elementary to middle school. We have people going from middle school to high school, and we have youth who are graduating and becoming adults. So many big changes. Can you raise your hand if you are one of the people we're celebrating today? Woo! We'll have lots of time to enjoy and celebrate each one of them later. And so, why do we celebrate when people go through big changes? It can feel sometimes really complicated to go through change. It's not always something we want to celebrate, right? We might be proud of the hard work that it took to get to where we are now, but we also might feel unsure about the future. We might be really happy with the way things are now, and we don't know what's coming next. We don't know if it will be better or worse than how things are now. So we often have mixed feelings about change. It's not just a party, right? And the reason we do this is that because with all of these different feelings that come with change, it is helpful to remember that you are not alone. There are so many people who love us and want to help us through the hard parts of change, like here in this room. So that's what we're doing. We're committing to helping each other through change. And we want each one of us, especially those of us who are going through new chapters, to succeed, to be happy, and to learn and grow. And we want to learn and grow with you. So we do this ceremony, so we remember that we have all these people to help us when things are hard. And so in preparing for this service, I was thinking a lot about my experience of bridging from being a youth to a young adult in the congregation that you heard about earlier. Now, high school is never easy, but I was happy with the way that I made it work for me. I made close friends. I learned how to express myself in theater class and on the slam poetry team. I was involved in justice movements through my church. I was in one of the first openly same-sex couples at my school, and I was really proud of the way that I worked to make my community feel more welcoming to people who were different like me. I knew what subjects I liked in school, and so I took classes that interested me. And yes, of course, it was hard. Like when my school setting felt restrictive, hurtful, when my friends struggled with mental health issues, when I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with my life. It was not the easiest time, but it was okay because I knew who I was because I had people, and we knew who we were together. My friends and I were not popular, we were not superstars in any way, but we had each other. And so, as it happens when you grow up, I eventually had to leave that environment. And I actually left those friends. I chose to go away to a college that I didn't know anyone at. It was only 3 hours away, but it felt like a world of difference. Whether I wanted to or not, this was a time where I needed to reinvent myself. Raise your hand if you feel like you've ever had to reinvent yourself. Okay, it's a lot of people. It's part of growing up, actually. We have to see ourselves in new circumstances, and we have to respond differently and think about our values and who we want to be in that new chapter. For my reinvention, I knew that I really wanted to study religion and political science, and I didn't feel like I had time for the creative arts that I had built my identity around in high school. And I was away from those people. I transitioned my personal style away from a heavy eyeliner pop punk one, which may surprise you. There are pictures. And I started wearing floral linen pants. I was in a mountain town, it's what you do. And I cut off my dyed red hair and let the blonde grow out. I even considered going by my middle name, which is Susanna. But ultimately, that was too much change. I couldn't bring myself that far. These sound like fairly small surface level details, but they felt big because it meant that people would make different assumptions about me when they met me. People would have different first impressions, and I knew that that would change things. And I remember a couple of months into all of this, I have this one night where I was lying awake at night, and I felt really amorphous as a person. I was lying there in bed feeling like a shapeless blob, really. I was realizing that this person that I had spent years crafting and becoming was not solid and everlasting, that there was a self that wasn't attached to all of those outside surface things. It was terrifying and exciting, and I felt like I could be anybody I wanted. Even more so, all the new people around me wouldn't even know the difference, which is so weird when you think about it. They only knew this new version of me. And so I wondered, what was that core about me? What were things true to me that would not change? I knew that there were probably things like that, but I needed to take time to discover them. Because throughout this time of change, and so many times of change afterwards, I learned that there are often things that I think are true about myself that are actually malleable and changeable. As we all go through different chapters in life, we have the chance to learn about different parts of ourselves. We grow new parts of ourselves. The things that we care about change. The things we like to spend our time doing changes. Maybe you had a toy that you used to really like and now you're kind of bored of it. It's like that, but with our whole lives sometimes. And it is scary and wonderful all mixed up together. In the process of change, we have a chance to discover what we love about ourselves. And we also discover things that are harder, but that make us who we are all the same. Think of the ways that you have changed and how quickly in these past few pandemic years. Suddenly we were staying home alone or with our roommates or families for months on end, and we had to discover new ways to fill our time, new things that we enjoyed, a new sense of purpose. We had to learn new skills for dealing with a time when everyone we knew was stressed and scared. We saw parts of ourselves and our loved ones that reacted out of fear in new ways that we hadn't seen before. We saw parts of ourselves and our loved ones that were brave and generous that we wouldn't have seen before. And this is why it is important as a community to pay attention to and celebrate change, even though there are sometimes parts of change that are really hard. Even more important, community is a place that is meant to love all the different versions of ourselves as we change and grow. We don't have to be one version of ourselves forever just to be part of community. In actuality, all of us are going through times of great change all the time. In this congregation too, I think we've really felt that. We've had ministerial transitions that have been complicated and rocky. There's been conflict that has left many of us wounded, and we have learned things about this community and maybe ourselves that we wish we hadn't. We may wonder if the versions of ourselves that are here in the pews today or watching online can really be seen and heard here and now. This is why we are doing right relations work, like our community circles. We are trying to get better at honoring and loving each other as we are now, at helping each other feel known and seen and heard. And so on this day of celebrating transitions, I hope we can also honor that this is a time of collective transition and transformation here in this community. We will all be different on the other side of this than we are now. But I believe that we are strong enough, flexible enough, and rooted enough to withstand all these winds of change. And we have each other. So, for all of you who are transitioning and bridging today, I want you to know this community loves you. In this chapter of life, we love this particular version of you, and we know that this version of you will not be here forever. We will love the person you become as you learn and grow. We will be so happy when when you are doing well, and we will be there with you, loving you when you struggle. We know that the relationships we share will naturally evolve and change in form and depth, and we are ready to change as you do. You have our support and affirmation. And so with that, we're going to turn to the paper and pens that were passed out. Very mysterious, hopefully less mysterious in a minute. So today is a day celebrating all kinds of change and transition, and we wanted to give a ritual for everyone to honor the change and this moment in life that they're going through. So I want you to think about all that you are and all that you know about yourself that is true in this moment, and reflect on your relationship to community. I'll give you a few minutes to think, so you do not have to write the first thing that comes to mind. There's no rush. So in a few words or a couple of sentences, or maybe a picture if you prefer to express yourself that way, think about what is a gift that you offer to your community, this version of you. What are the things that you bring to the table that might be really useful in times of change? What do you hope others can see and appreciate about you? What do you want to be known for in this chapter of life? If you need some examples, maybe you love helping other people feel hopeful. Maybe you are really good at remembering the little details. Maybe you notice when others are feeling left out and make sure to include them. Or maybe you are really good at dreaming big and then moving towards those dreams. So please take a minute and answer, what is a unique gift that you bring to your community? And once you've finished writing or drawing your response, if you're seated on the floor, I'll ask you to go back to your seats. And once it seems like people have written their pieces and are ready, I will give you more instructions. Thank you. And if you are seated down below, this might be a good time to move back to your seats, because there's going to be a lot of moving around and we don't want you to get stepped on. So in a minute, we will move into our time of ritual together. But first, as we do every time that we gather, let us take this time to hold up the joys and sorrows of this community. Let us take a moment to hold these joys and sorrows and all those that remain unspoken in our hearts. We hold them with tenderness and love. And so you may have noticed that there is this strange metal grid that came forward instead of our candle table. We have this trellis that we are going to be making into a sculpture. And so instead of coming forward to light candles, as we often do, we will share in this time of contemplation and togetherness by coming forward with those slips of paper. For those of us gathered here in the sanctuary, we will approach the chancel from the side aisles, take a moment to tie our papers to this trellis, and return down the center aisle. And for those of you joining online, if you would like your intentions to be added to this sculpture, please email me and I will make sure that those get added. We will have helpers down at the front to help you tie your paper on if you run into trouble, or if you wish, you can simply give your paper and let them do it for you. And as you come forward, we ask you to please hold your paper to your heart, infusing it with all the good energy you can muster. You are invited to tie your paper with care and intention, and take in the meaning of the words that you are adding to this community. And this will live in our narthex for a time as a reminder of the gifts that all of us bring. What are you offering here today? Let us begin.
thank you all. Sitting up here on the up here in front of you all and watching and feeling all that energy come up here is so beautiful. So let's hold that up then and sing together, There's a Love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Be good to see you all here today. If you are a person with a smaller body and you are having trouble seeing, I encourage you during this ceremony to maybe step into the middle a little. And you may not be having a transition experience this year, but you might next year. You might want to see this. We've been talking about change. So many things change. We change. Our lives never stand still. There's always something new, just as we heard in Reverend Carter's homily. We're always moving from one thing to another, one age to another, one experience to another, one stage of life to another. We call these changes transitions. Some transitions are small, as we've been hearing. Some are big, and some are very, very big. For example, we have some friends in this congregation who are beginning kindergarten this coming fall. Now that can be very, very big. I know. Oh, go.
So we have at least one person entering kindergarten in the fall whose name is Neeland. Where is Neeland? Can you come forward? There you are. And also we have Cleo who's entering kindergarten this year who is joining us in the live stream. Can everyone turn to the cameras in the back and wave to Cleo? We have a gift for you that will be ready next time you are here.
All right, Neeland, come right over here with Thomas and Faith. It's so good to see you. Okay, I'm going to tell you a few things. I want to say, since you're starting kindergarten next year, we know it is a really, really big step for you and Cleo and all the others. Congratulations, because we're so excited for you. In kindergarten, you're going to learn lots and lots of new things, and you'll figure out a little more of how the world works and how you fit into it. One important thing we hope you'll learn is that you are known and loved in this community. Do you think this community loves you? Mm-hmm. I think so too. We have a present for you to take to school to keep on your backpack. It's something you can put on there just to remind you that we love you and we think you're perfect exactly as you are. High five. This is a furry friend to remind you if you ever feel alone, Neeland and Cleo and all the other kindergartners, that we are here with you.
Okay, Neeland, so you're going to walk through that arch and you're going to take your present.
Come on.
it is time for 5th graders to please come up. You will be going to middle school next year. So please join us. We also have Sam transitioning to middle school today and Harper here.
Come on over, Sam. Woo! Middle school is such a big transition. At middle school, it seems like the big questions, who are we and where do we fit in? How are we different from our peers? Who do we belong to? What do we believe about ourselves and others? We know we're different from our friends and others, and we wonder if it's okay to be different. In middle school, one of the most important things to remember is to be true to your inner self. But it can also be one of the hardest things to remember. Our gift to our middle schoolers is a friendship bracelet to remind you that even in the tough days, you have friends here at Westside. We appreciate who you are. We love you. We see you. And we think you're perfect, exactly as you are.
So please go through the arch, and after you do, we will know you as middle schoolers.
Skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're older must have pleased them, and promises of someday to make their dreams. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game.
So after middle school comes high school, a new world of its own. Can we have all of our 8th graders here today who will be transitioning into high school? We have Eli, Titus, and Violet.
Well, we know moving into high school marks a time of searching and questioning. Oh, and we have Jenny, yay! Yeah, so we know this is going to bring a lot of searching and a lot of questioning and exploring and learning much more about yourself. So, of course, in high school, you're moving into your maturity, and more you have to find your own way in the world, not necessarily the chosen ways of your family or teachers or peers, and sometimes that's not easy. Finding our own way can bring challenges, and it can require courage, for sure. And once in a while, we might even get lost. Feeling a little lost is pretty common at the beginning of high school, and maybe sometimes through high school. But you know, being lost can be a gift too, because it's often the time that we find the path we're meant to be on. So, as you make your way in through high school, if you feel that sense of being lost along the way, our gift is to give you a tool that you can always use to find your way back to your family who loves you, and your faith community who cherishes you, and your own true self, that which is holy and sacred. So we give you the gift of a compass. Keep it close to you, and we invite you to hang it on your backpack or a keychain, and pull it out when you don't want to be lost anymore, when you need to be grounded in the community that will always embrace you. We love you. We see you, and we think you are perfect, exactly as you are.
And so you can walk through and take your presents and be joined on the other side by the youth group you're entering into.
16 springs and 16 summers gone now. Cartwheels turn to cartwheels through the town. And they tell them, take your time, it won't be till you drag your feet to slow the circles down. And the seasons, they go round and round, and the painted ponies go up and down. We're captive on the carousel of time. We can't return, we can only look behind from where we came and go round and round and round in the circle game. And go round and round and round in the circle game.
So we're going to move from the transitions that take us into high school to the bridging that allows us to welcome our seniors as young adults in our community. This bridging ceremony honors the passage from childhood into adulthood. Traditionally, it occurs around the same time as that person graduates from high school, although it can happen earlier or later than that. It's a rite of passage, which is unique to Unitarian Universalism, and it happens all over the United States and Canada. This ceremony offers everyone a chance to stop and reshape their relationships with each other with intention. When a person leaves childhood, leaves their youthhood, is welcomed into the adult community, everyone's relationships are changed. The new young adult steps into a new role with new expectations and opportunities. The adults reorient themselves to this new young adult as mentors and peers, letting go of the parental and guardian roles they have filled up to this point. The ceremony affords everyone a chance to mark an important transition and acknowledge what is changing and what is staying the same.
So with that, I'd like to invite our youth who are bridging today up to the chancel. Welcome Molly and Tallulah.
We have two other seniors who are bridging, who are not with us today, Nat Fawcett Long and Lila Stridoff. So as we begin, well, I'll just stand right here. Come on over. It is my privilege to share a little bit about each of our fabulous seniors. This Tallulah Shaughnessy over here, for example. In her many years at Westside, Tallulah has brought her quiet noticing, her heartwarming smile, her creativity, and their passion for equity. And in recent years, we've witnessed the evolution of their voice, their care, and their resilience, and they have been a very steady pillar in keeping our youth group going through all the trials of the pandemic, showing up with care and courage even as there were disappointments and losses to grieve. She has consistently demonstrated the commitment to radical inclusivity through their leadership in our youth programs and in their role as co-chair of our Youth Adult Committee. Remember those days? Today we celebrate this young adult who is emerging into their expanding world with groundedness and confidence and enthusiasm. Tallulah will be attending the University of Washington next year and exploring the study of English. Now, I'd like to share with you about Molly Slatkin. Molly has been blazing trails with her music and her leadership here at Westside and beyond. In her elementary years, her wisdom and her convictions became apparent in RE classes. And by middle school, oh, for real, yes. And by middle school, we benefited from her growing dedication to our partner church initiative. With the leadership that Molly and others offered, a youth trip to Romania and our partner church village was planned and funded, and unfortunately was also grieved as the pandemic prevented our travel. Molly brings her care, her passion and creativity, and her commitment to everything she does. And today we celebrate this young adult who is bringing the conviction we saw in her childhood into the pathway she is carving as an emerging adult. Molly is planning to take a gap year after graduating. I believe that's still the case. Maybe?
I'm getting my general credits done at South Seattle, I think. So I'm doing that while I
Okay, but I do know that your plan is to focus the force of your creative energy on one of her greatest passions, which is music. Okay, let's give them a hand. I'm going to invite Tallulah to say a few words.
Good morning, Westside. I definitely should not have worn mascara today, but it's so sweet to get to look you all in the eye at my last service as a Westside youth. I've been coming here since infancy, at times inconsistently, but I'm so grateful to have grown up in this place that in its many phases also stays so familiar. Westside has gifted me a stable community to come back to, support simply because we have all chosen to be in this place. Every day there is concrete evidence of a community that has people working to make itself bigger and kinder, an example that I'm so glad I've gotten to witness. A lot of my formative memories are gifts from this place, coming over the West Seattle Bridge as a toddler, getting lost in the rummage sales, running under the snack table with treats in hand at social hours long ago. Westside also gave me a lot of queer adults to look up to in a world where there isn't always proof that stable futures are possible for us. As a youth, I'm glad we've made the most of what we had. The youth advisors have stayed kind, determined, and creative through everything, and I'm glad I stuck with it and got to engage in conversation, art, and community with other youth. Youth connection is something powerful, and I'm grateful for the wisdom that comes from shared experience. This is the final transition of many. I still have my dried up little baby roses, my bear keychain, my friendship bracelet, my compass. Each has reinforced that I will always have what I've learned in this community, and I'm grateful to reimagine what this community means to me as I enter adulthood. Thank you. Thank you.
And we invite Molly up to share a poem with us.
Okay, so the poem I'm reading today is The Journey by Mary Oliver, which was introduced to me by Jade because she was my mentor when I was writing my credo, which, if you don't know, it's like a coming of age thing where you kind of write down your beliefs and essentially just, I don't know, I wrote a poem and I poured all of my heart into it, but it could be whatever you want. It could just be like a statement, and it's just to, I don't know, it's like, credo is I believe, right, in Latin. So anyways, so Jade and I became pretty close over the process of that, and she showed me this poem called The Journey. Oh my God, I'm already gonna cry. And I, of course, had to go and buy New and Selected Poems, Volume 1, aka the New Testament, from Pegasus Bookstore. Anyways, I will read the poem. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. "Mend my life," each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations, though their melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough, and a wild night and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. Thank you.
Thank you both. So today we are also offering our Bridgers a gift, which is a chalice. So it is a chalice that you will take with you into the world, a symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and it also offers other possibilities. In our faith tradition, we light chalices to open sacred space, to remind us for our actions to reflect our highest values, to symbolize the warmth of community, and to illuminate our quest for truth. May this chalice be a connection to your faith, a symbol of your inner light, and a reminder that love is here for you in this community. And now we are going to invite everyone to join in a responsive reading to mark our experience and support this bridging tradition. Our words are going to be projected on the screen. Today, we say goodbye to the child you have been, and we greet the adult you are growing to be. We are very proud of you. We promise to include you fully in the adult community here at Westside, and to support you as you find your way and continue to mature and grow. Go forward in peace and love, and welcome.
Adulthood. We are thankful for your love and support, and we are eager to explore what being an adult will mean to us. We are also sad because being a UU youth is an amazing experience, and it is sad to leave that behind. However, we are grateful to be a part of this congregation and glad that growing up does not mean losing those relationships and connections. It is good to still be held within the circle of our community, no matter what age we are.
The chalice you have been given holds the light of this congregation, and in its light you will always find our love and belief in your inherent worth and dignity. May this flame light your path forward and bring illumination to your times of joy and your times of sorrow. Know that we will always be with you, just as you will always be with us. Go forward in peace and in love. Goodbye and hello.
And now I'd like to invite all of the youth forward on this side, and all the adults who are going to greet, you know who you are, to please come up on this side. And we're going to all join together in a meditative singing of Wu Ya Ya while these two seniors make their way across the bridge.
Heaven knows where we are going, but we
everyone for participating in these rituals. You may now take your seats if you're standing, and we have all day to continue this love fest. And I believe it is our anthem next, so I will invite Rainier Reunion up for that.
We're going to sing Swimming to the Other Side, which you may know from Emma's Revolution. It was written by Pat Humphreys. We are living in the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced on the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive a sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it be my crime. In humility, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living in the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, finding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before me, band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living in the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great big dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving
Many thanks, Rainier Reunion. So much gratitude to offer today, and in our few remaining moments, I sincerely want to acknowledge a huge amount of effort that's gone back through or come through in the past couple of years. I actually wrote this all down. Let's see. Because, you know, our religious exploration program is a truly collaborative effort. And a great deal of effort is given each year by RE teachers and volunteers to create a positive experience for our children and youth and our families. In the last couple of years of pandemic life, we've been so fortunate to have this persistent commitment of a few core individuals who have recently been calling themselves the RE planning team. So I would just like to invite Amy Hansberg-Cotty, Jeanette Hitch, Thomas Terrence, and Faith Iverson to just come forward and receive our warmest thank you. Yeah, let's show that thank you. Woo! I also just want to invite a few other people to stand if you're here. Anyone who has supported our youth as youth advisors, please stand. So Amy, you can stay standing. All of our OWL teachers who are here today who taught OWL this year, thank you. All of our nursery supporters who are waiting for the little babies to come, please stand. And all of our Time for All Ages readers who have shared a story with us this year, please stand. So Ko Capistani, I don't know where you are, Ko. Yeah. So enormous gratitude.
All right, I can see you're all getting antsy, so I'll try to make this quick, all right? All right, thank you to everyone who participated in this service. Scott, John, Jim, Cora, Gracie, Rainier Reunion, Harper, Darnell, Nate and Henry up there in the crow's nest. Deep thanks to everyone who participated in the service that wasn't already mentioned, most especially the RE planning team, the volunteers, and Jade Wilde. As always, it's a great pleasure and a blessing to do this sacred work together.
Thank you for everyone holding tight in this longer service. There is just so much to celebrate, and what an abundance here. So please rise in body or spirit for our closing words. These words are read by our youth each time that they wrap up their worship gatherings. May our faith sustain us, our hope inspire us, and our love surround us as we go our separate ways, knowing that we will gather again in this beloved community. Amen. And so now I'll invite our RE planning team to release our flame. As they do so, may you go into this week blessed and blessing the world. We hold you in our love as you go.